of the story. I don't know if you guys can, I'm sure you can see the planter. I don't know if you really want to see me that much. But this is day 4 and some change of planting beans. Hopefully the last day of planting beans. All of my beans are in, all of my brother's beans are in, and we are not too far from having most of Dad's beans in. But kind of a lot of inconsistent running. Not getting going as early in the morning as we'd like. Partially due to weather, partially due to, well, I've mentioned it on this channel many times in the past, so for those of you that are new subscribers, you're probably not really sure where I'm coming from with this, but this is the 3rd year now where planting has pretty much just hit you with a brick. I mean, like this year we had more than an abundance of jobs that we would have liked to gotten done before we really got into planting. But years like last year, where we didn't even start planting, we started with beans last year, we started with beans this year, but we didn't even start planting last year until the 7th of May. Typically, we like to be done planting corn by then. So last year, it just pushed everything back. And when you plant late, your seed gets out of the ground late, it doesn't mature as early in the fall as you would like, results in more cost to dry, later running. Like for us, we didn't get a chance to do really any tillage, which made this year that much more challenging. The chisel plow is probably the most expensive piece of equipment on this farm. It costs us the most. Not that it costs a lot of money to purchase or to have one, but the time that we lost from not planting when I was chisel plowing potentially translates into lost yield this fall. That's not a guaranteed fact. I mean, there's a lot of X, Y's, and Z's that go into that. There are a lot of different variables, but we don't know what the best planting dates were for the year until they're already passed. So we don't know if we have any more great ideal planting dates, which, I mean, generally you'd say, yeah, we will, of course. But then you get years like last year where your best day for planting was, what did we have, like 2 in the month of May, and then after May it was like June 6th. I mean, I don't want to go through another year like last year, and last year is what you'd consider a wet year, meaning the polar opposite to a dry year. But I've heard it said many times over, I've heard it from my grandpa, was a drought year, and these are all farmer sayings, a drought year or dry year will scare you, but a wet year will starve you. Yes, because when it's dry out, yields might not be there, but generally you can work, you can plant, you can make hay, you can harvest in the fall. When it's wet, you can't get in the field, you can't plant, you can't spray, you can't do any groundwork. Good luck making hay throughout the summer. And then when it comes to harvest, we gotta go. When it comes to harvest, I mean, the crops are potentially wet like they were last year. The ground's soft, you're sinking in, you're worried about getting stuck, you're sliding sideways in any of these hills that generally aren't that bad, but like pulling that 1,000 bushel cart last year, oh, it had the big floating tires on it, which I think really helped, but it's kind of surreal. I've never seen it before, where you're going across the field and you can actually see the ground like sink, and like you can see the tire coming, and the ground is actually pushing up away from the tire because of the weight that it's carrying. I mean, yeah, I felt those lanes we had through some of the fields that I was chiseling. I mean, I definitely felt it on the tractor. I felt it lugging the chisel plow. But that is also why I was pushing to chisel like I did. As far as planting beans go, I mean, some of you guys probably want to know what's all going on here. We gotta watch the monitor as I do this. Per planting, anywhere from 120 to 145,000 seeds per acre. The home farm, great soil. I mean, really produces well. It's gotten tons upon tons of dairy manure. Yields the best. 60, 70 bushel beans at 120 to 115,000 seeds per acre. Tougher ground, the ground like down at my place, we run at 145. Just depends on the ground's history. We've run a lot of our ground long enough. We know what it can and can't do. That does help make the decision as far as whether or not you're going to be running high or low populations. You run it too high. This place has a really bad habit, a good bad habit. I mean, if you plant too heavily, the beans too heavy, they have a really big tendency of lodging because the plants try to grow so tall instead of, there's so much energy in that plant, the plant is trying to grow, and instead of focusing on putting too much energy into producing the pods, that the beans tend to fall over. And then you get that issue of having to combine one direction if you don't want to risk losing 5 to 10 bushels to the acre, which we've seen it on the monitor. You go in different directions on the same pass, and you can literally see you're losing yield to the header because the header isn't able to pull everything into the combine. So the plan is we're now less than 40 acres until we are done with planting beans for 2020. And we all know that I don't like beans. We got rained out today. I mean, I planted a little over 10 acres, got rained out. When I start getting mud, not like slinging mud and all that stuff, but when you start getting mud, getting tacky on the tires, it's time to quit because you don't want to mud up the planter. But quit for 3 hours, came home, came out across the field with the four-wheeler, kicked up some dust. The ground really just got wet on the surface. It dried out enough that we could plant. Dad went ahead and went down to my place to finish disking. I'm running this. We're not going to harrow this farm. Ryan is actually staying close because the problem that we are potentially looking at this year, instead of having too many soybeans left over, is the fact that we might not have enough. And it's going to be a photo finish. I just filled up right before I started this video. Well, I don't know. We might need 10 bags to finish up. It's my place, that'll be about 140,000 population. Not as much as this farm, or more than this farm. But I do like running this ag leader monitor. I do like row shutoffs. That saves us a lot of money in itself. Making sure that you're not over planting and you're not just running seed out, overlapping just to get a 5-foot area planted like I just did right there. Saves you money. People don't like technology. Some people hate it. Some people despise it. I didn't like the on-track, the guidance, the tractor driving itself. It's really nice for planting. I mean, you get the nice straight rows. I mean, planting, big deal, but when you're going to harvest, it is nice being able just to follow a steady curve around the field as opposed to running the combine and you're constantly doing this because the planter rows are crooked or not even, or a pain. Makes for a long day, makes you tired at night. Technology is great when it works. I'll throw that in there. But once again, it is another rush to the finish line planting year, which growing up, I mean, everybody can say this. You know, it's not like what it used to be when I was a kid. I'm not talking about just ag kids, farmers. I'm talking about just anybody in general. Things never stay the same. The longer time goes on, the less things really stay the same. And that is the way it is with planting. The reason I say that is because, well, I'm going to adjust this while I'm talking to you, is when we were growing up, planting used to take 4 weeks. It just did. And now it's, when it comes to planting, it seems like if you're not done before you started, you're already behind. And I know it's weird to hear me to say it like that, but it just seems like when you start planting, you're already looking at, all right, how long until I'm done? Because the sooner you get it in the ground, the more potential yield you're looking at. And I get it, I really do. But there were guys talking about technology last year, and what they were saying was planting isn't as fun as it used to be. The reason being is because they have those high-speed planters. You plant 1,000 acres, everything that you run, in 3 days. I mean, the days of really just being a farmer and driving tractor all day. Farming isn't just driving tractor anymore. It's, you got to be a marketer and a manager and being able to shop around for products and fertilizer. And I think a lot of these markets, I think that's just got everybody down. I mean, yeah, it's true. It's kind of hard to get excited about raising potentially $2 corn. They just said on the radio earlier that there's a lot that can happen between now and this fall, but they're talking about, oh, we're potentially looking at a low $2 cash corn this fall. It's very possible. They also said it last year too. So I don't know what's all going to happen here. Hopefully things open back up. They need to. But the thing is about being a farmer and planting corn or planting beans or making hay, as opposed to like they're shutting the wells off and they're not pumping any more oil, they can start those up 12 months out of the year. As a farmer, you can really only plant corn, beans, a set number of days throughout the year. It's not like you can go out in December and, yep, I'm going to start planting. And same thing with making hay. You can only make it so many months out of the year. And that is a big reason why farmers produce like we do, why we don't just park the planters and forget about it. Expenses keep coming in, and we're the forever optimists. We're going to plant a crop and sit on it with the hope that we're going to see better prices, or at least prices where we can actually make a living doing this. So with that, I need to focus on what I'm doing, because talking to you, not really saying anything bad about you guys, but you're kind of making me inefficient right now, and we really want to get done planting beans before midnight. So I'm going to run into the dark and get this done, because they're calling for rain for the next couple days. We lucked out today. We didn't get a big soaker, but there's some really ominous dark clouds flying around, buzzing around, floating around, whatever clouds like to do. No, just be there and look menacing, I guess. So you guys are watching the rest of the story. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. It helps the channel. Yes, it does. The videos are, you know, kind of sporadic right now. I really dropped the ball on filming days where I should have. Make sure you go down and hit the little bell. If you guys like what you watch, make sure you subscribe and go click the little bell so you guys can see when my videos are coming out. You're getting notified of that, largely because I'm trying to stick to my regular schedule. But as you guys saw this past week, I was posting on Monday. I'm just trying to get videos out to you guys. I'm doing what I can, the best that I can. So until next time, take care, take it easy, keep in touch. I'll talk to you then.